as we bring in Doc Emrick, NHL on NBC, who joins us now. How you feeling, Doc?
Great. I know why McLovin's not in the room.
Why?
Remember the last time I was there and any kind of a hockey segment, you drafted him to play goal and see and beat him?
That is true.
That's why he's gone. He doesn't want to be involved in the hockey. He's worried.
Last night, well, what stood out last night, first of all, game-wise, and then we'll get to the post-game celebration.
What stood out was the play of Duncan Keith again, and, Eddie accurately forecasted that he would be the MVP, but he really showed it offensively as he had this whole series. He was magnificent. I think that was one thing, and I think overall the whole scene, the whole vibe in Chicago has been magnificent the last few weeks in particular, and it showed right from the anthem on. Blackhawks hadn't had a lot of really good starts, and last night wasn't really that great a start for them. But as the first period went down near the end, they started to get revived, and they were rolling along pretty well. It's going to be quite a scene in Chicago for the next few days whenever they have their parade. As of this morning, they were debating whether it would be Thursday or Friday.
If you look at the salary cap era, I keep hearing that with what the Blackhawks have done, three cups in 6 years here. Why is it so difficult, or put it, I guess, into words, why this is such an accomplishment? I know winning 3 at any point is great, but 3 in 6 years for this team, why does it stand out?
I think because it's so hard to keep guys together, and they're going to find that. They have 12 contracts up. 4 of them are restricted free agents and another 8 unrestricted, and it's just very hard to keep it all pieced together. I think Stan Bowman's done a wonderful job with that, but we have to kind of redefine what a dynasty is now.
Yeah.
And Gary Bettman proclaimed them a dynasty last night. I think in light of the last 50 years, it would be with a lowercase d rather than a capital D. When you see Montreal win 5 straight and 4 straight and the Islanders 4 straight, you reclassify what a dynasty is, but it's a tremendous achievement now given the limitations.
Where do you see Patrick Kane, when we're looking at American-born players? I guess Modano is probably considered the guy, or Chelios. Roenick is up there. But Kane winning cups makes it different than some of the other guys on that list. Where does Kane kind of fit in there?
Well, he's certainly in the top 5 or 10 among all the American-born players all time, and he's still very young yet. And he's going to be on a good team, remaining in Chicago all these years, because even if they have to have a roster tear-up over the summer, they're still going to bounce back pretty well for what they're going to wind up having. And I think he was delayed in getting some scoring in the series. Of course, he got the very last goal of the series, but the potential that he has and the cast that's around him, he's going to be on a strong team for a long time, and he's going to stand out. Just a rare talent that he has, especially he and his captain in key games wind up in big goals. And there were no bigger goals, I think, that scored by the Blackhawks than Jonathan Toews got in Game 7 against Anaheim. He got the first 2, and he was clearly the leader of the team. And these are all cliches that we use, but they're accurate, Dan. He's one of a kind as well.
He's Doc Emrick, the NHL on NBC, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Was the cup late last night?
Yeah, Sam Flood is quite a character, and he was advising us. He's our top guru in hockey, as well as one of the leaders at NBC in the sports department. He was advising us that it was not there yet, and he was also keeping us posted on when we could mention that it was not there yet. And it arrived, I believe, by estimate of Sam, after the game was over, 5 minutes before it was presented. There were reports that it was being traveled at 100 miles an hour with a police escort to get there, and there seemed to be some appropriate delays, at least in the post-game celebration, because there was a lot of cheering and a lot of passing of the cup going on later. But there seemed to be some, maybe some delays in the celebration before the 2 trophies were brought out. But 5 minutes is still 5 minutes, and they got it there. That's the important thing. The history, of course, you're probably aware of. In 1938, Frank Calder, the president of the NHL, didn't really value Chicago's chances of winning because they finished so low, and they were an underdog, decidedly, to Toronto. that the Cup wasn't even there when they won it in Chicago in 1938. It was in Detroit. The Red Wings had won it the previous year, and they still had it. And he just didn't think they were going to win in Chicago, so it was never dealt with. So at least last night the Cup got there, even though it was close.
There was silence during the handshake line, and then at one point you just said, I sure like hockey. It was almost as if there was a voice in your head saying this, and it just felt like it came out. It was just natural, where you almost became a fan, not a broadcaster.
Yeah, and it's a remarkable bit of sportsmanship, especially when you know how hard they play and what they go through just to be able to play. We were learning after the game last night, and I don't know if it's substantiated, but the initial reports were that Ben Bishop had a torn groin and that Tyler Johnson had a broken hand. And are these shocking? No. It's about the Cup, and these guys will go through incredible things just to be able to play for it. Whether those are true, I imagine that it's been already borne out. Traveling on a train this morning, Dan, I feel like I'm back in the days of the old 6-team NHL in the 1950s. We had a lot of flights canceled last night, and there was a lot of ground fog this morning, so I just decided, hey, the train's not that bad.
What were the streets like when you left?
Remarkably downtown, it was fine. I understand out near Wrigleyville there was a lot of activity last night. I think it was all fairly sane, but they were going to party all night if they could because this was a big thing for them, and especially to win it in Chicago. There is that sort of secret thing among players that there's an advantage in one respect in winning it on the road, in that your families are brought in usually for this. That was a tradition that I think the Devils started in 2000, where the families always were brought on the road. And until the plane touched down 3 to 6 hours after you won it, it belonged to just the family, who were all together as part of this unit from the beginning of the fall. And the ups and downs of the season are all experienced by both athletes and members of their family. So that cluster of people were all together until the plane touched down, and then it became, part of the general public, as you'd understand. But the chaos of winning it at home sometimes spreads into the streets, and I think my understanding is it all went pretty well in Chicago last night. But there is that time that you have on the road that you don't get at home because the press is immediately in, and then it's followed by all of the other people that are dancing in the streets. So it's an upside regardless of how you win it, but there is that one private moment of a few hours that you get if you wind up winning it away from home like the Blackhawks did the 2 prior times.
Well, safe travels, and we're thinking of maybe making a T-shirt in your honor.
I will tell you that Fritzy and I have had a conversation about next fall. There will be surprise T-shirts for everybody, and they will be oriented toward a certain event that NBCSN is carrying next fall. We are going to Johnstown, Pennsylvania, where Slapshot was filmed, and carrying a preseason game between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Pittsburgh Penguins. And the week of that, you guys will receive special T-shirts that don't pertain to the Penguins or the Lightning, but do pertain to the movie.
I love that. Will the Hanson brothers be on hand?
I hope so. If Sam Flood's involved, he has a great appreciation for the film, and he is very persuasive. Let's put it that way.
Doc, we enjoyed it. Thank you again, and we'll talk to you soon.
Good. I love the Danettes. Tell them all hi for me. I love watching you guys. It's fun in the morning. Take care.
Thank you, Doc. It's Doc Emrick. A long road there.